Thank you, dear friend, for being here today. I want you to take a deep breath, because what I am about to share with you is not an ordinary story. It is a secret that has been waiting in the shadows of your heart, a truth that you may have sensed many times, but never dared to call by its real name. Cancer. This is not just about astrology. This is about the silent burden you've been carrying, the hidden wound that has shaped the way you love, the way you trust, and the way you see yourself. Tonight, we are going to open that locked door together. And once you see what is inside, nothing in your world will ever feel the same again. You see, betrayal does not always come with shouting or broken glass. Sometimes it comes dressed in silence, in indifference, in the look of someone you trusted turning away when you needed them most. And for you, dear Cancer, that silence has always cut deeper than any words could. Perhaps it was your sister, perhaps another relative, perhaps someone you thought was your protector. Their silence was not empty, it was a choice. And that choice left you questioning your own worth. Why was my love not enough? Why did my care feel like a burden to them? These questions echo in the deepest corners of your soul, and tonight we will give them a voice. But here is the mysterious part. What feels like the darkest betrayal may actually be the universe's way of guiding you toward your true power. Because you, Cancer, are not just sensitive, you are chosen. You are the guardian of emotions, the keeper of love, the sign that turns pain into wisdom and wounds into wealth of the soul. What if I told you that hidden behind the tears and disappointments lies a key one that can unlock not just healing, but also prosperity, protection, and even the chance to rewrite your destiny? Would you dare to turn it? So stay with me, because by the end of this video, I will reveal a truth that most people will never hear in their lifetime. A truth that explains why your pain was never meaningless, why your tears are sacred, and why the universe has marked you for something far greater than what your family ever recognized. This is not just about surviving betrayal. It's about transforming it into a doorway toward abundance, freedom, and the kind of love that never abandons. Before we continue, take a moment to ground yourself. Grab a cup of tea, or maybe a warm coffee, and sit with me like an old friend sharing secrets under the quiet night sky. Let this be your safe space. If you feel the resonance of these words in your chest, hit the like button right now so the universe knows you are ready. Subscribe so you don't miss the next message it sends. And in the comments, type this simple line: I release silence, I choose truth. This is not just a comment. It is your declaration, your signal to the universe that you are prepared to step into the hidden chapter of your destiny. Now let me ask you this, dear Cancer. If silence itself can betray, what other hidden forces in your life have been shaping your fate without you realizing it? Cancer, let us step deeper into the space where your heart has kept quiet for far too long. You know, betrayal doesn't always arrive wrapped in loud arguments or cruel words. Sometimes it comes in whispers. Sometimes it comes in silence so sharp it cuts your spirit in two. It is the indifference, the way a sister looks away when she knows you are being hurt. It is the cousin who changes the subject when you longed for them to defend you. It is the mother or father figure who quietly lets the storm pass, pretending not to see, leaving you standing in the rain alone. That silence, dear friend, is not neutral. It is not peacekeeping. It is a choice. And that choice often feels more devastating than any direct attack. You have poured your love into your family like water into a sacred vessel. You built a home of tenderness, brick by brick. with your loyalty, your patience, your sacrifices, and yet, in a moment of truth, when you needed them to close the doors and shield you from the cold, you discovered something terrifying. It was your own kin who opened the windows, letting the icy winds of indifference tear through your sanctuary. Imagine it, the house of love you built trembling, not from enemies outside, but from betrayal within. That is why your soul has carried such a heavy ache, a quiet grief that never seems to heal. There is a unique pain reserved only for the sensitive souls like you, Cancer. Others may brush it off, laugh it away, pretend it never happened, but you feel it deeply, as though each small act of dismissal is a dagger that lingers in your chest. Perhaps your sister rolled her eyes when you spoke from the heart. Perhaps another relative chose to stay silent when gossip spread like fire around your name. That silence did not protect you. It burned you twice. First, by leaving you exposed. Second, by confirming that the ones you trusted most had chosen comfort over courage. And yet, here you are, still questioning yourself. Was I too dramatic? Too sensitive? Did I expect too much? Let me speak this truth into your heart. You did nothing wrong. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is your superpower. The problem was never that you loved too deeply. The problem was that those around you did not know how to hold such depth. Like children splashing in shallow water, they grew uncomfortable when faced with the ocean that is your soul, and instead of learning to swim, they turned away. Betrayal for a Cancer does not explode like fireworks. It seeps in quietly, like water finding every crack in the wall, until suddenly the whole foundation feels unstable. It's the unanswered messages, the broken promises, the way your devotion is treated as obligation. It is death by 1,000 tiny cuts, until you can no longer tell if you are bleeding or just exhausted. Can you feel this truth resonating? Has your own heart whispered, "Why wasn't my love enough?" That question has been living inside you for years, hasn't it? Tonight, we are not pushing it back down. Tonight, we are letting it rise, letting it breathe, because your feelings are valid and your tears are sacred. When someone you love chooses silence, it feels like standing in a crowded room screaming for help, and no one even turns their head. That is the kind of wound that doesn't just bruise the heart, it fractures trust itself. And once trust is cracked, every family gathering feels heavier, every conversation feels scripted, every hug feels just a little too hollow. This is the invisible betrayal, the one that outsiders never see, but that you carry in your chest every single day. Let me tell you a story. I once met a woman who, like you, was the soul of her family. She cooked, she cared, she held everything together. But when rumors began to circle about her, spread cruelly by someone close, she waited for her sister to stand up, to shield her. Instead, her sister said nothing. Years later, she confessed to me that it wasn't the rumor that destroyed her faith, it was her sister's silence. Words fade, she said, but silence echoes forever. That echo, Cancer, is the one you have been hearing in your own life. And yet, inside that echo is also a strange kind of awakening, because the universe does not allow you to be betrayed without also planting the seed of power inside that wound. Every tear you have shed is watering the soil of your transformation. Every moment of abandonment is shaping you into someone who can no longer be fooled by masks or deceived by hollow affection. This is why your intuition is razor sharp, why your empathy can sense lies before they are spoken. You were not broken by the silence, you were initiated by it. Still, I know the loneliness you have felt, the dinners where you smiled through clenched teeth, the late nights replaying conversations, the mornings waking up heavy with questions. You tried to tell yourself it was nothing. You tried to forgive before you were ready, but your heart never forgot. That's why you are here, listening, because deep down, you are ready at last to stop pretending. You are ready to admit that their silence was betrayal, that their indifference wounded you, and that you deserve better. So let me ask you, dear Cancer, how many times have you sacrificed your own peace just to keep the family calm? How many times have you swallowed your words to avoid conflict, only to choke on them in silence later? And how long will you continue to carry a burden that was never yours to begin with? The truth is waiting for you. It is sharp, yes, but it is also liberating. Tonight, we are cutting the cord between you and that old betrayal. But first, we must honor it. We must name it for what it was, so your soul can finally exhale. If these words are stirring something in you, don't turn away. Let yourself feel it. Let the tears rise, if they must. And when you're ready, whisper this truth in the comments. I release silence. I claim my worth. Because the universe hears you, even when your family did not. And this time, the silence will not betray you. It will set you free. Cancer, let us pause for a moment and look at you, not through the eyes of those who misunderstood you, but through the lens of truth. You have always been the heart of your family, the one who keeps the fire burning when the winds of conflict blow too hard. When others withdrew, you stepped in. When silence grew heavy, you filled it with care. You are the anchor, the nurturer, the quiet guardian who has held together bonds that might have shattered without your devotion. Even if no one has ever spoken these words to you, your soul already knows. Without you, the warmth would fade, and the house would feel cold. Your gift, Cancer, is your intuition. You feel what others refuse to admit. You notice the small shifts that most would overlook. The smile that doesn't reach the eyes. The promises that sound polished but ring hollow. You can read the subtle tremors in a room like a musician reads notes on a page. Long before words are spoken, you already know the truth. And yet, how often have you been told you are too sensitive, too moody, or too dramatic? They could not see that what they dismissed as weakness was in fact the sharpest form of intelligence, the wisdom of the heart. Think of it this way. You are like a mirror. You reflect back to people not what they want to see, but what is truly there. And instead of honoring the clarity you reveal, they blame the mirror for showing their emptiness. They call you fragile when what they really mean is, your depth makes me uncomfortable. They label you dramatic, when what they truly fear is, you see through my mask. Their words are not the truth of who you are. They are merely the echoes of their own insecurities bouncing off the brilliance of your spirit. Do you realize how extraordinary this is? While others stumble through life, blind to the undercurrents of energy, you walk with a compass inside your chest. Your emotions are not storms to be tamed. They are signals from the universe, guiding you toward what is real and warning you away from what is false. That is why people are drawn to you. They feel safe in your presence, even if they never say it aloud. You are the hearth they return to, the sanctuary they lean on, the one who holds the invisible threads together when everything else seems to fall apart. And yet, this very gift is why you often feel unrecognized. You make the hardest work look effortless. Your sacrifices remain unseen because you give without keeping score. Your strength is quiet, your care consistent, and in a world addicted to drama and spectacle, Quiet devotion is rarely applauded. But here is the secret the universe whispers to you tonight. Just because they cannot see your worth does not mean it isn't immense. Diamonds buried in the earth still sparkle in the dark, even before anyone dares to unearth them. So hear me now, Cancer. You are not weak, you are not needy, you are not too much. You are a soul with emotional intelligence, so rare it unsettles those who cannot handle their own reflection. You are the warm heart in a room full of flickering candles, the one steady flame that refuses to go out. And when the day comes that you stop apologizing for your light, you will discover that the very thing they criticized in you is the same thing that makes you unstoppable. If these words resonate with you, let them settle into your bones. Type in the comments, "I am the heart, I am the flame," so that the universe knows you are embracing your true nature. This affirmation is not just a sentence, it is a declaration of your identity. And as we move forward, I will show you how this depth, this intuition, this unwavering flame is not just a burden you carry. It is the power that will transform your destiny into one of healing, abundance, and profound love. Cancer, this is the moment where the wound reveals its deepest scar. It is not the sting of words that cut you the most, nor even the betrayal of the one who spoke against you. No, the sharpest pain came from the silence of those who could have defended you, but chose not to. The ones who stood in the room, who saw your tears glistening in the corners of your eyes, who heard the weight in your trembling voice, and yet remained unmoved. Their silence was not passive. It was active. It was a decision. It was their way of saying, without speaking, "I will not stand beside you." And that, dear friend, was the betrayal that pierced your heart more than anything else. Think about it. Words fade, arguments dissolve, but silence lingers like smoke after a fire, suffocating the air long after the flames have died. How many times have you walked away from a family dinner feeling invisible, not as a beloved soul, but as a servant whose care was expected, whose feelings were disregarded? How many times have you smiled through the pain, carrying dishes to the kitchen while no one carried the weight of your emotions? And in those moments, haven't you wondered, am I only here to give? Does no one see me? Does no one love me for who I am, beyond what I provide? Let me ask you this piercing question, Cancer. How many times have you left the table, your hands full of plates, but your heart empty? How many times have you gone home, your body exhausted, but your soul even more drained, whispering to yourself, "I am just a ghost in my own family"? Those whispers are not weakness. They are the truth your soul has always known. Silence is not peace. It is complicity. And when those you trusted most chose silence, they chose a side. You see, betrayal does not always wear the face of an enemy. Sometimes it wears the familiar face of someone you once called home. The one who smiles at you in public, but refuses to defend you in private. The one who hugs you with arms that feel cold, because their silence has already drawn the line. That is why this wound feels so unbearable. It was not inflicted by strangers. It was carved by the very hands you once held, by the very voices you once believed would echo in your defense. There is a cruelty in silence that words can never match. Words at least reveal the heart of the speaker. Silence hides behind neutrality, pretending to be harmless, when in reality it is a dagger plunged quietly, leaving no sound but endless echoes in your chest. Silence is an accomplice. Silence is agreement disguised as restraint. And when you were left undefended, It was as if your very existence was declared expendable. Cancer, you have always valued harmony. You have sacrificed your own peace to keep the family together, believing that if you absorbed the pain, at least the bond would survive. But let us face the truth. What kind of harmony exists when your soul is silenced, when your needs are ignored, when your tears are brushed away as inconveniences? That is not peace. That is suppression. That is the quiet erasure of your worth. I once knew a man who told me the story of his childhood. Every holiday, his relatives would mock him for being too emotional, too different. He waited for his older brother to defend him, but every year, his brother sat in silence, staring at his plate, never once raising his voice. And decades later, the man told me, "I don't remember the insults anymore, but I will never forget that my brother said nothing." Do you see? Silence is remembered longer than cruelty. Silence brands itself into the heart because it confirms our deepest fear that we were not worth defending. And yet, you have carried this weight alone, convincing yourself that perhaps they didn't know, perhaps they didn't realize, perhaps they were just trying to keep the peace. But tonight, I am here to speak the truth you've avoided. They knew, they saw, and they chose not to act. That was not ignorance. That was betrayal. And you, Cancer, no longer need to excuse it. So let me speak to the child within you who still aches for validation. You were never invisible. You were never too much. You were simply surrounded by people who chose their own comfort over your truth. Their silence did not mean you were unworthy. It meant they were unready to face the reflection of their own cowardice. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this scene. You are standing in a room, surrounded by those you love. Someone strikes at your heart with careless words. You turn, hoping another will speak for you. But instead, the room grows quiet. Eyes look away. Chairs scrape, but no one rises. That silence is heavy, like a chain around your chest. That is the moment you realize that silence can wound deeper than any accusation. That is the memory you carry to this day, whether in the forefront of your mind or buried in the folds of your soul. Now hear me. You do not have to carry that chain anymore. Their silence was not your punishment. It was their failure. You are not the abandoned one. You are the awakened one. And tonight, you are allowed to name the betrayal for what it truly was. If your heart is trembling as you hear these words, if you feel that familiar sting in your chest, let yourself acknowledge it. Do not turn away. This is the moment the wound begins to heal, not by denying it, but by facing it with courage. Write in the comments, "I am no longer invisible." Say it aloud if you must, because once you declare it, the universe begins to shift. The silence that once crushed, you will transform into the very space where your voice rises, clear and undeniable. Cancer, your silence was survival, but it was never meant to be permanent. Tonight, the echo of abandonment becomes the anthem of your awakening. You are seen, you are valued, and your truth will no longer be swallowed by the quiet complicity of others. This is the beginning of your freedom. Cancer, now that we have faced the wound, we must speak of healing. This is the moment where you begin to release what has chained you for so long. I know that in the quiet corners of your heart, you have waited. You have waited for the apology that never came. You have waited for someone to turn back, to say, "I was wrong. I should have defended you." But the years have passed, and still there has been only silence. And here is the truth, dear friend. That apology may never arrive, not because you were unworthy of it, but because they lack the courage to give it. If you keep waiting, you will keep bleeding. But if you let go, you will finally breathe. Let me whisper something into your soul. You do not need their recognition to validate your pain. You do not need their words to heal your wounds. Forgiveness, in its truest form, is not about them at all. It is about you. It is about freeing your spirit from the invisible chain that ties you to the ones who hurt you. Forgiveness is not saying, "What you did was fine." It is saying, "I will not let your silence define me anymore." As the wise saying goes, forgiving is not because they deserve it. It is because you deserve freedom. So what does this look like in practice? Picture this. You take a small piece of paper. You write down the names of those who wounded you. Perhaps it is your sister. Perhaps it is the cousin who turned away. Perhaps it is simply the word silence. And beneath their names, you write the words, "I release this burden." Then, in a quiet room, with only the soft glow of a candle, you burn that paper and watch the smoke rise. As the ashes fall, imagine the weight leaving your chest. Imagine the ties unraveling one by one until you are no longer bound. This simple ritual, humble as it may seem, carries power, because in that moment, you are no longer a prisoner of their silence. You are the master of your own peace. And while the flame flickers, whisper this affirmation: I choose peace. I choose myself. Feel those words vibrate through your body. Say them again. I choose peace. I choose myself. The more you repeat it, the more your soul believes it. This is not just an affirmation. It is a vow. It is the vow to no longer place your life in the hands of those who did not value it. It is the vow to honor your own heart as sacred, to place your healing above their comfort. Do not be afraid to release them, Cancer. You are not losing family. You are shedding illusions. You are not closing a door. You are opening one. And on the other side of that door is the serenity you have always longed for. When you let go of the expectation of apology, you are no longer standing at a locked gate. You are walking freely into a garden of peace. You will discover that silence, once a wound, can become your ally, the quiet space where your spirit regenerates, where your intuition speaks louder than ever, where your future begins to unfold without the weight of the past. So tonight, I ask you, will you continue to carry what was never yours, or will you lay it down and walk forward unburdened? Let your heart answer, softly but firmly. And when you are ready, declare it to the universe in the comments. I choose peace. I choose myself. Because every time you speak those words, the chains loosen, the burden lifts, and the path toward true freedom opens wider. Cancer, you have given enough. You have waited enough. Now it is your time to release, your time to reclaim your peace, your time to walk forward, not as a wounded soul, but as a soul finally free. Dear Cancer, as we arrive at the closing moments of this journey together, I want you to pause and let everything we've shared sink into your heart. You are not walking away empty-handed. You are walking away lighter, freer, more aware of the truth of who you are. You now understand that what you lost was never your true family. It was only the illusion of belonging. The universe is not taking away your home. It is guiding you to a higher home, a spiritual family, a soul community where your love will finally be seen, cherished, and valued for the rare gift that it is. Cancer, you are not alone. You never were. Every tear you shed, every night You wondered if anyone truly saw you. Those were not moments of weakness. They were seeds. And now those seeds are blossoming into a new chapter of your life. The universe is opening doors, not for you to crawl back into the old wounds, but for you to step boldly into new opportunities, new love, new prosperity. You are walking out of that small, silent room where you once locked your heart, and you are walking into the wide-open garden of your destiny. And this is the lesson you can carry into your everyday life. Never wait for apologies that may never come. Never tie your peace to someone else's choices. Instead, choose yourself every morning. When you wake up, whisper to your soul, "I choose peace. I choose freedom. I choose myself." Carry that affirmation with you like armor, and you will notice how the weight begins to lift, how opportunities begin to flow, how the world begins to mirror back the worth you finally claim for yourself. The message of tonight is simple yet powerful. Forgiveness is not about them. It is about you. Releasing the burden is not a loss. It is a gain. You are not leaving anyone behind. You are releasing the illusions that held you back. And what awaits you, Cancer, is nothing less than abundance, love, and the kind of family that recognizes your soul at first glance. So here is my heartfelt invitation. If this message has touched you, if you felt the stir of truth deep in your chest, show the universe you are ready. Hit the like button so your energy vibrates into the cosmic field. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another message that could change your life. And in the comments, declare boldly, "I choose peace. I choose myself." Let those words echo, not just here, but into the very fabric of your destiny. And if you feel called, consider supporting this channel through super thanks. Every gesture of gratitude helps spread these messages of hope, healing, and abundance to souls around the world who, just like you, are searching for light in their darkest nights. Together, we are building a community that will ripple healing energy far beyond what any one of us could imagine. Stay close, dear friend, because the next videos will carry even more secrets of the stars. Secrets about wealth, lucky numbers, and the hidden rituals that can attract health, abundance, and even that jackpot moment you've been dreaming of. As we close, I want to remind you with the utmost certainty, you are worthy of happiness, of prosperity, of a life lived fully and beautifully. You are not defined by the silence of others, but by the voice you dare to raise for yourself. Now, I want to ask you, what is the one topic you would love to see us explore next? What burning question do you want the universe to answer for you? Share it in the comments, because this channel exists for you, to walk with you, to shine light into your path. Thank you for being here. Thank you for opening your heart. And thank you for allowing me to share this sacred space with you. Until we meet again, may peace be your constant companion. May abundance flow effortlessly into your life. And may love, true, loyal, and eternal, find you and never let you go. You are seen, you are loved, and you are free.